YouTube? So I am back with another video, and I'm coming to you with a video that is, I feel like, so important because a lot of people may not even know how to go on an interview or what to do, what steps to take. So I'm going to help you guys out with starting out looking for a job in fashion. I feel like it's so important that if you're going to apply for a company, you definitely want to know and be knowledgeable about that company. So you want to do your research. You want to find out like what positions are available. If you're looking on different sites like Indeed or LinkedIn or anything like that, then you want to know like, okay, this position is available. What other positions are at that store, or you know, what store is it specifically, like what location and everything. So once you get all that information and you decide I am going to apply to this job, you go and apply, and as soon as you apply, it's really beneficial for you to go to that website and see if it's a fashion store or if it's some type of retail store. See if they have some type of newsletter that you can sign up for. So if they have a newsletter, you sign up for that newsletter so you can be in the know of everything that's new that's going on within that company. So once you find out like, you know, what the new trends are with that company, what new launches they have and everything, you're going to be in the know from that point on. And hopefully if you are intrigued by that company to want to go ahead and apply for them, you probably already have a sense of what's going on with that company. So you're not like really, you know, ignorant to the fact of whatever they have they're selling or anything. So once you've done that, it's important to look out for your emails. So you're going to look out to see, like, you know, if they're emailing you, letting you know when an interview is. Always stay on top of that. Get rid of that spam mail that's in your email and keep it fresh and look at it throughout the day. You know, you have a clear line for them to call you to, and then all of your information that you submitted to them is up to date. And then if they haven't called you or emailed you, I think it's very beneficial for you to go ahead and give them a call. That's fine. I think a lot of people think that they have to sit and wait for a company to call them because they feel like, okay, maybe they haven't reviewed my resume. If they did review your resume, maybe you think that they didn't find you as a good candidate. But I think taking the initiative to call is what really is going to spark an interest with them as well. So once you give them that call, ask to speak to someone who is in charge. So don't call and just say, hi, I am an applicant and I applied for blah, 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 because you can be getting someone who has no rank, has no pool, has no nothing. So call and ask, can I speak to a manager on duty? Can I speak to your MOD? And then they're going to say either that they are the MOD or that, you know, yes, please hold, and they'll get the person who you want to talk to. Once that person gets on the phone, then you can express to them like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I was calling about the position that I applied for on such and such date, and I was wondering or inquiring if that position was still available. Then they're going to tell you X, Y, and Z. Like, yes, it is available, or no, actually that position has been filled, or yes, we're still looking, or actually we're holding open interviews and you can definitely come on down. Or they're going to be like, hold on, let me check. You know, maybe they're not the manager that's in charge of that type of thing, and they're going to get the hiring manager, or they possibly can tell you like, well, in-house we don't, you know, deal with that type of thing, so you won't be worried that the store is not, you know, I guess looking at your information. It'll be more so that maybe their district manager is in charge of looking and filtering through the people who they're going to hire. So finding out that vital information can ease you from the stress of like worrying, why didn't you get a call or why didn't you get an email? So once they do that, and you now are at the point where you want to go ahead and get the interview. So once you have established this interview and you've already communicated with everybody who you're supposed to communicate with, what you should do on interview day and the night before. You want to feel so motivated and confident in yourself and be able to sell yourself at this interview. So the night before, what you should do is get your outfit that you're going to wear on the interview together. You do not want to be rushing around the next day, hour before you have to be at the interview, trying to figure out and pick through things. You want to do like a dress rehearsal. So go through and look at what kind of clothes they sell at their company. You want to look the part. You want to look like you already have that job. So once you go and look online, you already have the newsletter, so you're like reading through all the things that are the top trends for them. You want to look the part. You want to look like you fit into that company. You want to also be a little bit conservative as well, because when you actually shop at those stores, what are they exactly wearing too? So if they have like some type of strategic uniform, like all black, or they wear white shirts with black pants, like, you kind of want to show up in that, because that shows that, you know, you have the actual wardrobe that it takes to actually work there. So you're going to comply to their standards and their rules, and it shows, like, you know, that you're dressing the part, you're on target, you know what's going on. So once you picked out that outfit, you then want to go to grooming. You want to make sure that your nails and your toes, if you are going to wear open toe shoes, are manicured. You want to make sure that everything is groomed into up to spec. Even your hair. If your hair takes forever, which I'm so lucky that I only have like a fade. If your hair takes forever to get done, like if you're natural and you do a twist out and all that stuff, you want to prep that stuff the night before. Make sure your hair is flawless and make sure that you're ready to go, because you don't have time to stress and wait and really just, you know, stress over, oh, I'm having a bad hair day, when you already know what it's going to be like. So, and then do something that is super simplistic and not like over the top crazy where, you know, you like look like, okay, this girl clearly cannot be in the business world because she has like this blue streak in the front of her hair. And that's cool, that's fashion forward, but at some companies, a lot of companies take grooming more conservative than they do the actual fashion sense. Make sure that you print plenty of copies of your resume. You have got to print copies. Even though you may be meeting with one person, you don't know who else is going to join into that interview. So print out tons of copies. I would say like at least 5. Take at least 5 with you. Even you'll have one to reference too, just in case you feel too nervous and you stumble across like something that you did. You'll be able to reference your own resume and be like, yeah, you know, just give it a glimpse. Don't be like staring at it like, yeah, so because it's gonna look as if you're like falsified your information that you put into your resume. So anyway, okay, so after you've printed out your copies of your resume and everything, you want to make sure that all your devices are charged. If you're going to take a tablet, if you're going to take your phone, make sure that all of those devices are fully charged. So if you need to reference anything in your phone, like phone numbers, references that you need to pick out and get their email addresses because you don't know it by heart, certain things by heart. I know I don't know people's phone numbers by heart. Make sure you pack your briefcase and or bag. So I know that it's 2015 and not a lot of people carry briefcases if you're not like a lawyer or something like that. So I think it's super important for you to have the right type of bag. You don't want to take a clutch. You don't want to take a crossbody. You don't want to take any huge crazy bag. You want a nice structured bag. So my bag that I've been carrying on certain interviews and any kind of business meeting thing is like this. It is completely structured. It also is like a box square shape, so I can fit envelopes and any kind of binders I'd like to in there. My resume clearly is going to fit awesomely in here. And I don't have a portfolio which I keep my resume in. However, that would be amazing. If you have a portfolio, a bag like that would be so beneficial because you can fit it right in there. I have like this thing right here that I'm gonna put my resumes in and just slip it right into my bag, and that way I can just easily hand it to them. Another thing that you want to put in your bag is maybe even a notepad, so you can take notes on things. What if they have like all this different stuff that you did not know that this role had? You want to jot it down so you can stay familiar with what they're talking about, so that you can reference it again, like, oh, they want for me to do X, Y, and Z on this day, and this role has to do this and this and this on this day, and if I was to do this, I have to report to this person. So it's good to take notes because it shows as if like, it shows that you're actually paying attention to the interview. You really are intrigued by what's going on, and you want to I don't know, you just want to stay engaged. So it's like taking notes and really comprehending what they're saying. So I keep a composition book, and I keep this in my bag, and I whip it out. And in this composition book, I also have a page filled with all kind of stuff. It has everything in here that you're going to need. So I wrote down the company, where the location is, the phone number, and just in case I'm running late or anything like that and I need to call them, so I have that in here. Who I talked to about the interview and who I'm going to interview with. Those names, because sometimes it may slip your mind and you may think, oh, I just knew his name, I knew her name, and it slipped my mind and I just, oh, I can't think of it. You already have it wrote down, so you don't have to worry about trying to like remember all these different facts when you have never even met this person before. So it's not like their name is going to be stuck to your brain. So writing that type of information down is super crucial. Writing down the time and everything. You want to make sure that you have everything written down, so that way you can always reference it and not feel like, oh, I thought it was 12 o'clock, but maybe my interview was at 1 o'clock. Oh, I don't know. Like, you wrote it down, so you do know. And then you want to write down important facts. You want to know when it was established, the dates, where, what part of the world it was established in, how many stores they have. You want to know in what countries. Well, you don't need to know like every single country, because I mean, that's kind of crazy. But at least know how many countries it's in. You know, you want to know the store volume if you can know that. And if you can't, that's a question you should ask in your interview. And I'll get back to those questions as well. But you want to know, like, how many people are employed with this company? Like, most of the time, the website will give you all of that information. Or you can even Google it, and sometimes other websites will have all that information because someone's done the research before. So, and then you also want to know what type of business is it? Is it a business that actually gets their products manufactured outside? Is it outsourced products? Or do they do all of the design, production, distribution, and everything? Like, you want to know those things because that could be a vital information that you need for your role. And then you also want to know what the competitors are. Like, who is the competitor of your company? If you want to know who is the competitors and how are they different from the company that you're applying for. And you also want to know what they sell. Just because you go there and you shop, and if you're a woman, you go there and you shop in the women's section, doesn't mean you don't need to know that they also carry men's, they also carry kids, they also have home goods. Like, you need to know those type of things. Like, you know, it's just beneficial for you not to be in one bubble, but know about the whole entire company, because at the end of the day, you're going to be a part of, you're helping their sales. So they're going to have you know everything about it and not just where you strategically are going to work. So outside of that, you also want to know what new technology they have going on. It's going to help them with sales, or it's going to help them with whatever it is, you know, merchandising, and help them with, you know, retaining customers or whatever it is. Do they sell credit cards? Are you going to be responsible in that role for card captures are being made? The questions that you're going to ask at the interview, because after your interview, they always ask you the exact same question. Do you have any questions for me? And then if you sit there and you're like, no, I'm good. Like, are you though? Like, you don't have any questions. I feel like it's so beneficial to have some type of questions. Okay, so first question, is this a new role with the company? You want to know if they're hiring for something super new where nobody's ever done it before and you're going to be put to the test. You want to know, like, if this is a new rollout or if this is a role that has been with the company for a while. Like, what would be the daily duties of this role? Like, what, you know, what would be the task for this person to complete on a daily basis. And then you want to know, how long have they been looking for a candidate? Like, that's a great question to ask, because you want to know, like, have they been really weeding out people, or is this something where they just posted it, like, you know, when you saw it and you applied, was that the first time they posted it, or have they been looking for this person for like a year? Like, you want to know those type of things because it can show you, like, you know, how you measure up to other people. Like, are they really like looking for somebody who's super skilled and knowledgeable? Further question, is this role a succession planning role? Can I grow with the company, and how fast can I grow with the company, and is that even possible in this role, or do I have to go to a different role in order to move forward? That is a great question to ask, because it's going to also show that not only are you willing to grow with the company and you want to be a brand loyal, but also it's going to show that you're really invested in your own career. Fine to ask them, like, so how long have you been with the company? And, you know, compared to the other companies that you worked for, how do you like this company, or how do they stand alone from the other companies you've worked for? And then they can get into it. They'd be like, oh, I've been with this company for about, you know, 4 years. I mean, it depends on your, like, conversation back and forth with that person, and see how comfortable they are to, like, really dig deep into their own personal lives and stuff. I've talked to people in interviews, and we've talked about, like, where they come from, their background. We've shared different places where we live. I'm from Chicago. Oh my goodness, my husband's from Chicago. I love Chicago. And then we just start talking about everything under the sun that has nothing to do with the interview, and it becomes more engaging, and it makes your interview more personal. So it won't be like, oh yeah, I asked all these different applicants all these questions, but with her, we had a real conversation. And it's great to ask also, when will you be hearing back? Like, when can you know a definite answer? And they probably won't be able to tell you, like, oh, you'll know definitely by Tuesday, or sometimes they will. Like, you never even know. Like, you know, it's fine to ask those type of questions so you can gauge when you're gonna be hearing back, instead of being like on pins and needles after your interview, like, I think it was good, but I don't know when exactly I'm gonna hear back. Oh my god, I'm nervous. Like, you'll know, like, around Tuesday I should be getting a call, because that's what Larry Sue told me. So, you know, and then once you know, finalize that, you can also follow up with another question and say, okay, so I wanted to know if I can get some type of email so I can keep a rapport with you if that's possible. Getting their personal email or, you know, some type of phone number that you can call them is so amazing. And it's so old and traditional, like super old school for you to send a follow-up email, but that is this thing that people are not doing anymore. Like, you don't want to send a letter because that's super old school, but sending a follow-up email saying like, I really appreciate you interviewing me today, and say the date and say the time and say like, you know, what the position was for and who you are, and you know, say to that person, like even if it's like an in-store email where everybody reads it, if you attention it to that person, they can read it and they can follow up, and you know, they'll be like, oh wow, this girl sent me this email, this guy sent me this email, and he really followed up, and I'm so you know, appreciative to them, and like, wow, you know, it's gonna continue, you're gonna continue to be on their minds. Only give you their phone number, their direct phone number or whatever. I would give them a call once that Tuesday deadline mark that they gave you has surpassed, and you're like, okay, it's like Thursday, they told me by Tuesday. Give them a call and say, hey, you know, I was just wondering, I had the interview with you on such and such day at such a time, and you know, I was really intrigued by the company, and I'm super excited to be a part of your company. And they're gonna, you know, tell you what the decision is, you know, or tell you that they're still, you know, trying to figure it out and they still have other candidates to blah 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 blah. Now, going back to the day of your interview, what you should be doing: wake up early. Hurry up and get dressed. Like, you should wake up early, because you honestly don't want to be freaked out, nervous, and stressed out. You want to be able to just wake up, make your bed, open the blinds, get some sunlight in there, and get some energy going. Turn on some music. Turn on any type of music that is like going to get you either relaxed and ready to start your day, or pumped, you know. So I recommend that. I also drink tea. I think drinking tea calms me. It makes me feel more hydrated. I just want you to know that you are amazing, and you're going to ace that interview with all of these tips, because I feel like I'm going to ace this interview with all of these tips.